How's the nurse's station working since it's been renovated?
Oh, it's great. Steve did a good job.
You see my wife?
Oh, yeah. Well, you planned a very busy day for her.
Well, I thought after all she'd been through that it wouldn't hurt for her to have a complete checkup.
Yeah, she did look awfully tired.
Well, things should ease up now. You know, the police believe that unidentified dead man is the one who was sending her those gifts and making those phone calls. Hi, Lisa.
Hi. I'm so upset. Nancy told me that Kim was here. Is everything all right?
Yes.
Are you sure, really?
Well, she's in with Dr. Chapin right now.
Oh, poor Kim. Honestly, after last night, I was so concerned about her. I know how upset she was having to identify that man, and then I wasn't able to sleep either. Just thinking of...
Hey, what gives with Kim?
She's here for a physical.
Oh. No, she didn't look very good. Kind of frazzled.
Nothing to worry about, John.
Yeah, it's none of your business, Johnny.
Really?
Yeah.
I saw her going into Peter Chapin's office. Why is she seeing a psychiatrist?
Well, Detective Johnson in Houston promised me that it was on its way, so you get it up here as soon as it gets here, all right? It's the report of a death of a Caroline Webb Cummings. You know, the woman Marcia Talbot worked for. Thank you.
Where's Franklin?
Oh, he's at home catching a few Z's.
So you still believe Marcia Talbot murdered Marie Kovac and Cal Randolph?
Yes, sir. It is entirely possible.
It's a long shot, Hughes. You know, you got better suspects staring you right in the face. Gibson, Wayne, Will Pratt, Jay Connors.
Look, Lieutenant, the more I work on this case and realize the incredible, subtle, brilliant ways this whole thing has been orchestrated, the more I realize that this is the work of a woman, a very clever woman. And Marcia Talbot is the only female suspect we have.
Well, thank you so much, Miss Talbot, for letting us use your office. I'm not going to keep him very long.
That's quite all right, Mrs. Walsh.
Well, thank you. Mr. Gibson, how are you?
Well, let's just say I'm a little surprised as to why you want to talk to me. Our last meeting wasn't very pleasant.
I know. In retrospect, I think that I was very harsh. And some of the things you said to me, I'm sure, well, I certainly hope you regret.
What can I do for you, Mrs. Walsh? I'm a little busy.
You're right. Let's get right to the point.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Mr. Gibson, there was a time when you wanted very much to be part of my organization.
Well, yeah.
Well, I still
true.
think that there's a place that could be made for you if you're interested.
Well, Mrs. Walsh, I'm still a suspect in the Kovac case.
Well, after you're cleared, of course. But this is something that I would have to know right now.
Well, the situation's changed a little bit. Ms. Talbot is going to be leaving, and I'm going to be taking over her job.
Here? My heavens. My, Mr. Cummings must be very impressed with your managerial talent. Wait a minute. The corporate world, Mr. Gibson, has more to offer a man with your background.
Maybe.
So I want you to keep us in mind, all right?
Yeah.
Let's, think positively, shall we? Good. While I'm here, you know, the Marie Kovac murder story is still selling newspapers like hotcakes, and the police are not very helpful. Do you think you could help me with a scoop?
How?
Have you seen her diary, the diary that seems to be the key to the whole thing?
Yeah. Yeah, I did see it once. Read a couple of pages of it.
A couple of pages?
Yeah.
And you didn't take it straight to the police?
Well, this happened a little while before Marie was murdered. This was last summer in New Haven.
Oh. So you haven't seen it more recently?
No. Actually, though, it was in this office not 2 weeks ago. I didn't see it, though.
In this office?
Yeah, but you can't print that now.
All right. If you said so, I can't.
You can't.
Why? How did it get in this office?
Well, Cal Randolph brought it over here for me, but I wasn't here, so he left it. Somebody made off with it.
Who would steal something meant for you and take it out of this office?
Well, the police think it might have been Jay Connors. He was here after Cal left the envelope. And the only other person who saw it was Marcia Talbot. Cal left it with her.
As the world turns. This portion brought to you today by delicious Citrus Hill Select Orange Juice. It gets your juices flowing. And by Ivory Liquid. Your hands can feel soft, smooth, doing dishes the Ivory way.
Well, you certainly are a snoop.
Really? You mean I stumbled upon a state secret here, huh? Why is Kim seeing a psychiatrist?
John, I'll explain it to you, but I'd like it kept quiet. The police called about a hit-and-run victim that they said matched the description of the man that Kim thought was following her. They asked her to come to the morgue and identify the body. On the body, they found newspaper clippings and other things that belonged to Kim.
So the guy must have been the one who did it.
Well, that's the way it looks. It was really rough on her, and I thought that she should probably talk to Chapin.
Good, I agree. I know this has really been driving her right to the edge. Andrew told me.
Oh, really? I doubt that Andrew really said anything to you like that at all, because Kim has been very strong through this whole thing, and she has been very careful
listen,
around.
what are you getting so excited about?
Because you are acting as though Kim has not handled this in the right way.
I didn't say anything of the kind.
Yeah.
Excuse me, your office is calling.
Thanks, Lila. Excuse me, you two.
Oh, Bob, could we have lunch together? I really need to talk with you.
Well, let me get this call first, and I'll get back to you.
Okay.
Well, isn't it something the way things work themselves out?
Well, I don't know. What are you talking about, or do you know?
Well, you know, I just think about all those gifts that Kim was receiving and all the cards, and then I see how cozy you are with her husband, and I just started to wonder.
Yeah, you wondered what?
You know, and then you sent her off on that shopping trip to New York all by herself, and I almost became convinced.
Convinced of what, Johnny? Tell me.
That you were Kim's secret admirer.
Well, now, wait a minute. Hold the fort here. Now, let's see if I got this straight. Are you saying that a man wouldn't have the intelligence to have committed these murders?
I didn't say that, sir.
Well, you said it was so clever it had to be a woman. I mean, I still don't believe that Marcia Talbot murdered anyone.
Look at it this way, Lieutenant, all right? Ken Wayne supposedly stole Marcia Talbot's car to go to the airport to make his getaway, correct? What if he didn't steal her car? We only have her word for it. What if she lent him her car and encouraged him to leave town, knowing perfectly well it would make him look guilty? And what about Will Pratt? Isn't it funny how he disappeared so conveniently right after we found the depository bag?
So?
So, what if we know Will Pratt was using Ken Wayne's apartment in Chicago, right? What if Marcia Talbot told him to use it and encouraged him to leave, knowing perfectly well that he would look guilty by running?
All right, now wait a minute. Let me ask you a question. Do you really believe that Marcia Talbot could carry Marie Kovac's body down the fire escape and over to the Corbin house? Do you really believe that Marcia Talbot could overpower Cal Randolph?
It is possible.
Yes, but it's not very likely. I mean, Cal Randolph was a strong guy. The average woman...
Oh, no, wait a minute. Marcia Talbot is not an average woman. I mean, look at her dossier. Look at her college record. And look at the autopsy report. Cal Randolph's blood was 2.1 alcohol. He was drunk. You don't have to be strong to knock somebody out, push him overboard, and let them drown if he's drunk.
Maybe.
And Marie Kovac may not have been murdered in her apartment. She might have been lured to the Corbin house and then her shoe taken back to her apartment to conceal that fact.
Terrific. Are you trying to say that Marcia Talbot tried to strangle herself with that black ribbon?
She could have tied that ribbon around her neck and told us that someone tried to strangle her. It's a perfect way to eliminate herself as a suspect.
Hughes, it's too far-fetched.
Sir, a woman can do desperate things when she is jealous. And I happen to know that Marcia Talbot is one very jealous woman.
Have the police been making any real effort to find that diary?
No, I don't think they've gotten anywhere. I used to think it was Jay Connors, but I don't think so anymore.
No, me neither. That leaves Miss Talbot.
Sorry to interrupt, Kevin, but it's getting very busy downstairs.
Oh, yeah. Excuse me.
Yes, we're going to keep in touch.
Yes, we will.
Eager young man. I like that. Miss Talbot, do you think I might use your telephone to call my office?
Of course. Use Marie's. I mean Kevin's phone.
Oh. This was Marie's desk?
Yes.
Oh, you two must have been very close to each other then, working in such proximity.
Yes, we were very close. I hired her, took her under my wing, so to speak. She hadn't any real friends in Oakdale, so she confided in me about everything.
I had no idea.
Speaking of friends, I'm very impressed with your Kevin Gibson. That job opportunity he's taking is quite a good one, don't you think?
First of all, Miss Talbot, Kevin Gibson is not a friend. Second of all, whatever opportunity he's taking has no doubt been handed to him on a silver platter by the Hughes family.
No, I'm talking about the junior executive training position with Walsh Enterprises.
No, that can wait, Jane, yeah. I'll be in the office within the hour. Right. Thank you, Miss Talbot.
I was just thinking of Marie. How quickly things change. I remember her standing right there using that very phone to make an appointment to see you, Mrs. Walsh.
Miss Talbot, your memory. Your memory must be playing tricks on you. Marie Kovac never had an appointment with me.
Oh, I was right here, Mrs. Walsh. I heard her.
I don't know. Well, maybe she tried to have one, but she certainly never got an appointment with me. Why on earth would she want to see me anyway?
Marie was always trying to better herself. I assumed she was looking for a nicer job. You never met her then?
Of course I never met her.
Oh, well, that's strange. I distinctly remember her coming back one afternoon and saying she'd met you. I can't imagine why she'd lie about it.
But from all that I can gather in this case, Marie Kovac was never above lying.
Perhaps not, but why would she? Marie was a very clever young woman, always alert to any opportunity. I'd better get downstairs. Feel free to stay and use the phone again if you need to.
Thank you.
Remember that night you came to my apartment? I told you then you'd never know what I saw on your desk that day. But it's all written down in my diary. You'd love to get hold of that, wouldn't you? But you can't. You know, I just love to see rich people squirm, Mrs. Walsh. I just love it.
This is Mrs. Walsh. Be through to Mr. Bingham immediately. I don't care who he's with. Ambrose. I was wrong about that little matter. Someone else does know.
How dare you? How dare you accuse me? Yes. To accuse me of such a despicable, ugly thing. I mean, to think...
Hi. I'm sorry for interrupting you, but John, I have to go over a supply list with you before I make the order.
Sure, fine. Why don't we do it over lunch? I'll spring.
Great. I'll get the list.
Oh, but by the way, congratulations on your engagement.
Ah, Mrs. McCall, thank you.
Yeah, I know that you and Craig will be very happy.
We are very happy now.
Good, good.
See you.
dare you accuse me of anything so despicable or even to think that I would do anything to hurt Kim? She is my dearest friend in the whole world.
You're pretty cozy with her husband, too, aren't you? I haven't forgotten the time I walked into Bob's office and found you in his arms.
Now, wait a minute. You don't understand our friendship, John, because you could never understand a friendship like that because you are totally incapable of having any kind of close relationship that was decent. And the only people that were ever close to you, you tried to destroy, and they end up hating you. And I'm not the least bit convinced by this concern you have of Kim. Oh, for her? Oh, not in the least. Remember when you were married to her? Remember how you treated her?
Wait a minute. We all make mistakes, don't we? And you should know this better than anyone else.
We all do. But we usually learn from them. You don't.
What do you mean?
Let's go over your list. Come on, let's just see. Let's see. First of all, that was a sweet little D. Stewart, and then after D,
Come
there
on,
was...
Lisa,
No. Then after D,
Lisa?
Ariel, and then there
Lisa?
was...
Are you...
Yeah?
Excuse me, Bob said he'll meet you in his office.
Oh. Yeah, okay, thank you. Thank you, Lana.
Did you hear any of that?
Yes, some of it. What did you say to get her so upset?
Boy, she's a fine one to talk.
Sounded to me like she hit the nail right on the head.
Hi, great timing. Come on, let's go eat.
Okay, great. Craig!
Hi.
I've missed you so much.
I missed you, too. Listen, I got a lot to tell you about. Thanks for the doctor. Hi, John. Welcome home.
Hi, Andy.
Hi, Mama.
John, I guess I have to cancel our lunch plans. I hope you don't mind.
No, sure, it's okay. Bye-bye.
Good to see you two together again.
Say, Lucinda, can I buy you a little lunch?
Are you out of your mind?
Me? No. Yeah, a little family reunion going on over there, and really, I'd love to buy you some lunch.
Yeah, but why would I love to want to eat it with you?
Because you can listen to me dictate your letter of resignation to the board. Come on. No joke, really. Come on, let's go.
Yeah, it's working. We'll talk to you in a little bit, Ma, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. So, okay, went to see the doctor, had lots of tests, and had lots of more tests, and he's going to get back to me on that. But he did tell me that there is definitely a chance.
Oh, great. That's wonderful.
I mean, we may be able to have children of our own someday.
Well, no matter what happens, I'm glad you went through with it.
Yeah. So listen, how are things going here? Is Lucinda giving you a lot of pressure about the wedding?
No, not at all. In fact, she's been upset about something lately, and I don't know what. But I've been thinking about the wedding, and I was wondering if it'd be all right if we asked Betsy to be the matron of honor.
Well, that's sweet.
And Lily to be a bridesmaid.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
And have you thought of the best man?
I was thinking about asking Tom.
Perfect, because I was going to see if we could ask Margot to be a bridesmaid,
Well,
too.
great. Then we got our wedding party, right?
Almost. I still don't have anyone to give me away. I brought it up with John, and he wasn't too keen on the idea.
No?
No. But, Craig, I was wondering... I mean, I don't have any family left, and he was so close with my family and with my father, and we practically grew up together. I was wondering if you'd mind if I asked Tonio to give me away.
I sent Eddie and Carl out to your place to start work on the barn.
Great.
I tell you, after that incredible breakfast your mom made for me, I'm going to make sure we do a great job for it. Don't worry.
I'm not worried at all.
I tell you, that is an incredible home you got out there. I mean, it is so loving, so warm and friendly. I just can't imagine how you ever ran away. Or does it sound nosy?
No, not at all. I feel a little guilty about running away like I did. And, well, I really hurt my dad, and I can't make it up to him, you see. So at least I can try with my mama.
Well, I can imagine if Danny ran away how I feel.
Oh, I don't think that's going to happen. I mean, there's so much love there.
Yeah, but I mean, your folks must have loved you, too.
Yeah. I wasn't staying with them at the time. I was living with an aunt and uncle in Kansas.
Oh.
It was money trouble. So they thought I'd be better off with my aunt and uncle because they were doing so much better that they were wrong. My sister Meg is there now. I hope they've mellowed somewhat.
Will they give you a hard time?
Well, they were very strict. Very strict. They thought of themselves as, you know, the kind of people that think they're very deeply, deeply religious, and then they use that
to judge and to criticize people and what you do. Anyway, I was at an age where I needed somebody to talk to, and maybe a little love, a little kindness, but, well, I just got tired of it and left.
Well, why didn't you go home, instead of running away?
I should have. I really should have. My life would be a lot different now. But I'm home now, and I'm real glad about it.
Well, I'm glad, too.
Oh, hi.
Baby.
Hope it's warmer in here than it is
Are the roads
outside.
okay?
Yeah, they're okay. I'm probably good lunch.
What a lady.
Oh, Ivor, thanks for putting up with him last night.
Oh, no problem. Listen, I'm gonna check on the timesheets with Ray.
Great.
Yeah.
It is so good to see you. Are you okay?
Yeah.
Okay. We'll see you soon. Give me a kiss.
Is she okay? She
What?
seemed a little quiet. I don't know. She didn't even ask me how Danny was. Yeah.
Oh, right. Well, we just got to talking. She had a rough time when she was a kid. And, sort of like me. She was on her own, too young. Made me realize how lucky I am to have you.
Well, I'm glad you're thinking that way, because we're both lucky.
I'm the lucky one, but I don't know about you and Danny. I still got to do a lot better for you, too.
Oh, stop. We have everything we want. How could we possibly need anything else?
Well, you don't understand, do you? I love you so much that I want you to have the best of everything.
See,
Yes.
I love you for that. You know I do, but you just gotta slow down a little bit here. People can lose each other scrambling to get ahead so much.
Well, that's not going to happen to us.
Promise?
Well, Johnny Dixon makes me so mad. I mean, the idea he is so insensitive and just...
Wait a minute. What happened after I left?
After you left, he stood there and accused me of being the one to send Cam the gifts.
What?
Yes, that's what he said.
Oh, that was just John. He was just trying to get to you.
Oh, but Bob, that's such an awful thing to say, and it was so ugly of him to do that. I mean, even to think such a thing.
Oh, I'm sure he didn't think that seriously. And do you really care what John Dixon thinks?
Well, no, I know I shouldn't care, but I wish I could find it as amusing as you do. No, I mean that I felt so bad about everything that's happened to Kim. And all that she's gone through, and all that you've gone through. And I have felt helpless about the whole thing. And I have been so afraid. I've been afraid for Kim. I've been afraid for you. I've been afraid for both of them.
Oh.
And I haven't been able to let anybody see how I feel.
Right.
Nobody.
Lisa, it's all right. Oh, all right.
This portion of As the World Turns has been brought to you today by Sure. You can raise your hand if you're sure, because Sure Antiperspirant helps keep you dry. And by Antiseptic Scope with T25. Scope leaves your breath minty fresh, not medicine-y. We'll continue with part 2 of As the World Turns in just a moment.
In the heat of the day, deal yourself a handful of excitement with the all-new Card Sharks. Hi there, I'm Bob Eubanks, inviting you to join the fun as fortunes are made with the turn of a single card. Good card. Yeah. So tune in weekdays for the all-new Card Sharks.
This is CBS. And now, part 2 of As the World Turns.
Kim, please let me explain. Now, I was just trying to tell Bob...
Lisa, you don't have to explain. Are you all right?
I'm fine.
Why don't we discuss this over lunch?
No, I couldn't possibly. I have a million things I have to do. I have to go, and I'm sure that the two of you would like to be alone anyway. And you look so wonderful. I'm so glad that you did go to the doctor's. Oh, it's just...
Me too.
Well, thank you for your shoulder.
You're welcome. How'd it go?
Okay. I like Dr. Chapin very much. I told him all about the nightmare and going to the morgue to identify that man, and about the phone calls and the gifts and how frustrated I feel. Yeah, the whole thing. Anyway, I think it did me some good to talk to him.
I'm glad.
What was Lisa so upset about?
Well, John told her that he suspected her of being your secret admirer.
I hate to admit it, but that had crossed my mind a couple of times. John, too.
Well, as it turns out, they suspected each other.
You know, I talked to Dr. Chapin about something else, about Lisa. Honey, I think maybe it's not very good for Lisa to spend as much time with us as she's been spending. Yeah, even though she's alone. As a matter of fact, have you noticed that the last couple of weeks she's been kind of refusing all of our invitations? You know, it could be that that's her way of handling things. I just think that right now, to see us together, to see how much that we love one another, is a very painful thing for her.
Where's Roy?
He's not here right now. He'll be back later. Hey, can I help you?
Well, I just got some on this key that Kim Hughes got from the guy who was harassing her. Have Roy call me when he gets in.
Wait a minute. What key? What are you talking about? That must have happened when I was away.
Oh, the guy sent her this key, along with the note saying that it was the key to his heart. Looks old, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Well, it isn't. It was custom made to look antique, see? It's got numbers along the bottom.
How do you know?
Yeah, I'm hoping that the manufacturer can tell us something about the lock this fits.
Pretty good, Munson. Pretty good.
Yeah. Now, you better get cracking and solve that case.
Hey, wait a minute, Munson. How you doing on the typewriter that typed the anonymous notes?
Well, we've got the make and the model number. Now all we have to do is find the actual typewriter.
You better get cracking and solve that case, Munson.
Hey, Hughes, for you. Just came in from Houston.
Oh, all right. Well, maybe we'll get some action on Marcia Talbot.
No, I wouldn't want Douglas to know now, but it's a possibility. I know what a shock it must have been for you when you realized it was Douglas on the phone. It was a shock for him, too, but I'm sure he doesn't suspect. Of course, but the timing has to be perfect. I'm afraid he's getting closer to Franny Hughes every day. Yes, I saw it coming from the time he met her. But I kept telling myself it wasn't serious. Well, there's a good chance we'll have more time now. I don't know when I'll get home, but I may have something more definite then. Just don't do anything until you hear from me. Right. Kevin.
The lunch crowd is thinning out. Do you want Jimmy and I to start the bar inventory?
Yes, fine. Kevin, I don't mean to pry, but may I ask you what Lucinda Walsh wanted? Did she offer you a position?
Well, she said that there might be something for me when I'm cleared, if I'm cleared.
It surprises me that she'd come here to see you if she didn't have something more definite in mind.
Yeah, surprised me too. But I don't claim to understand Mrs. Walsh.
Kevin, I want you to know that if she does offer you a position, I won't stand in your way.
I appreciate that.
I'd like to keep this between us. I wouldn't want to worry Douglas with it now. But if there's any chance that you are going to leave and go work for her, will you let me know as soon as possible?
Oh, sure.
Because I'll have to find someone to replace you and train them, and that takes time. In fact, I may have to change my plans and stay in Oakdale a while longer.
Yours looks better.
No. Oh, I'm sorry. You two still having lunch?
Yeah, oh, listen, I brought enough for you.
No, thank you. I had a sandwich with the crew.
Oh, come on, it's soup. It's homemade.
No, thank you, really.
Really? Oh, how am I going to pay you back for last night? Steve said your mom was so nice to him.
I'll just take a rain check next time you come by with lunch.
Okay. Oh, you got it. Listen, I'm going to pack all this stuff up and
No, not yet. Not yet. I got to show you around the site.
Now?
Yes, now. Get ready for this. You are not going to believe it. We got a man-made lake out there. We got a playground area.
Ivor, tell me something. How does he plan on building us a house when he's got this project going and every other project going?
Well, hey, don't you worry about that. I'll worry about that.
Yeah.
Here you go. Come on.
You know, we have a pretty nice house now, as it is.
It's a cabin.
It's a nice house, and it's big enough for 3 people, isn't it, Ivor?
And I'm staying out of
No,
this.
all right. Come on. I want you to see this layout. You're not going to believe it.
Oh, hard to keep him slowed down, isn't it?
Yeah, tell me about
Ira,
it.
look, we got to go to those modifications, okay?
Yeah.
I'll be back as soon as I can.
I got it
Come
right
on,
here.
you're not going to believe it.
Give Daddy a hug for me.
Okay.
Why didn't you go home instead of running away?
I should have. My life would be a lot different now.
Should have had the meatloaf. It's pretty good. You're not hungry, huh?
I find food almost as unattractive as the company.
Oh, yeah? Well, then maybe we ought to get right down to business.
I'm not going to resign the board seat, so you forget about it, John.
Forget about it.
I could consider it, maybe, in a few months.
I see what you're trying to do. Want me to hold off until Craig and Sierra are married? You think I'm bluffing here? Look, I'll go right over her and tell her who you are, that you're her mother, the woman who abandoned her so many years ago.
You just do that to her, huh?
I think it might be better for her in the long run anyway. Of course, it wouldn't be too good for you and Craig, would it? You know, I realized I said you should do this by the 1st of the year, and that's vague. So why don't we set a date here? Let's say the 15th of the month, okay? That gives you a whole week. That letter of resignation, if it's not on Rex's desk by the 15th, then I go to see her and I tell her who you really are.
If it'll make you happy, I'd be glad to have Tonio give you away.
I'm glad it's okay with
Well,
you.
maybe he won't want to give you away, you know.
Hello. Hi.
Now listen.
Huh.
I haven't said the word wedding in several days, so give me a break, okay?
Well, as a matter of fact, we've just been discussing things like best men and bridesmaids.
Oh, good and trousseau. We're going to be very busy in the next few weeks.
Oh, I know. With that and the apartment,
What? Apartment?
Oh, I forgot to tell you. I signed a lease for a studio in John's building.
But why, Sierra? I mean, with the wedding so close.
I know, but I've wanted a base of my own for a long time, and I can always sublet it, and John's loaning me furniture, so that's one expense I won't have.
Yeah, I'm sure that John has been incredibly helpful.
I'm gonna get Mrs. Walsh to join us, okay? Excuse me.
I don't believe it. John hasn't given up yet.
He won't. Announcing your engagement will only encourage him. There's no telling what he's going to do next.
That's impossible. Marie Kovac never made an appointment to see me.
I was right here, Mrs. Walsh. I heard her.
I don't know if she called for one, but she certainly never had an appointment with me. Why on earth would she want to see me anyway?
Marie was a very clever young woman, always alert to opportunity.
This is Mrs. Walsh. I want to speak to Mr. Bingham. I don't care who he's with. Ambrose, I was wrong about that matter. Someone else does know.
So, Marie did go to see Lucinda Walsh. Probably to do in Kevin. And Mrs. Walsh is very frightened.
Come in.
Oh, hi.
Hi, Marcia. I'm looking for Doug. I need to talk with him about the fashion show on the furs that's coming up very soon.
I'm sorry, he's not in the building now.
Wouldn't you know? He's probably with Franny. Isn't it wonderful to see how he's changed since he met her?
Yes. Seems like such a short time ago.
Oh, I know it was. I remember the day they met. Something just was magic. It just clicked. You know what I mean? Oh, I know that it must be just... Well, it gives you a wonderful feeling just to know this man who was so unhappy because of the death of his wife is now so happy again and so hopeful and, if I might say so, so in love.
Oh, well, Douglas hasn't discussed it with me.
Well, he hasn't discussed it with me either, but I am usually right about these things. And I do highly approve of him. I really do. I think he's just perfect for Franny.
Excuse me.
Sure.
Hello? Yes, she is. I'll tell her. That was Douglas. He's upstairs with Franny.
What did I tell you? They're together.
They've invited you up for a late lunch.
Well, how sweet. Well, look, just between us. Ordinarily, I would not intrude on the lovebirds. But I do have to discuss with him about the fashion show, so I guess I better go on and talk with him. Wouldn't it be a delightful idea if he got Franny to, kind of model some of those cute little things for the campus, you know, the little fun furs and everything? I mean, after all, she is so, pretty and young. Beautiful, really. Good to see you. Bye-bye.
Good to see you.
Hello. Is this the Oakdale police?
Oh, I enjoyed that so much.
I did, too.
Where did you go to lunch?
Well, I took her to Robert's. I thought she deserved a lot better than the hospital cafeteria.
Take it from someone who ate there. You did the right thing.
I'll give Sergeant Munson a call. You call me after you see Dr. Marshall, will you?
I will, honey. See you.
Bye.
Bye.
Can I talk to you for a minute?
Just.
Bob tells me that the police have found who they think has been harassing you.
Yes.
Yeah. Listen, I know must have been an awful ordeal for you. Andrew told me.
Yeah, well, Bob and I have done everything that we can to keep him away from the whole thing, but at his age.
Yeah, I know. Well, that's got to be a lot of pressure, too. I mean, keeping up a front in front of a boy all the time isn't easy.
Listen, is there some point to this? Because I really am going to be late.
I was going to bring it up later, but I thought now was just as good a time as any.
What?
I know this has been real hard for you, and I'm glad you're seeing a psychiatrist. I think he really may be able to help you. But until he does and you're feeling a little bit better, I was wondering if it might not be a good idea for Andrew to move in with me for a while.
Probably should get back to work now.
Sierra, dear, don't run off. There's something that you and I should talk about.
What?
I don't want you ever to be angry with me. And I hope you know that I want everything for you to be absolutely perfect.
What is it?
I want to tell you. You remember we talked about the wedding dress? Barbara was going to design it for you. Well, I mentioned it to her, and she'd be happy to design it for you.
Mrs. Walsh, that's very nice of you. And her.
I think, though, you ought to get in touch with her immediately because, well, you know, there's not that much time. Even if you don't have the date, call her now.
Right. I will, Mrs. Walsh. Thank you. That's so generous of you.
Hey, what is this? Top secret stuff?
Yes, it is. I'll see you later.
Okay. Well, must be wedding plans, huh?
Uh-huh.
You seem a little tense. What was it that you and John were discussing over lunch, huh? I could tell he was putting the screws to you. Must be about the hospital board seat. He's losing, Lucinda, so he's going to try anything he can.
I'm aware of that. Here.
Look, I know that you don't want to give it up. But maybe it's not a bad idea to go along with him. If he does tell Sierra before the wedding, this whole thing could blow up in our faces. It's not such a great tragedy, kiddo. You know, it's just a seat on a hospital board.
No, it's not. Oh. It's more than that. It's more than that to me. And you, are you applauding? Well, you certainly know what I'm going through.
Take it easy. Take it easy.
Are you applauding? You said that everything was going to crumble. All going to crumble, and you'd be there on the sidelines applauding, where you just get out your applause machine and you applaud because it's happening. It's happening now.
Well?
All accounts of Caroline Cummings' funeral say that Miss Talbot was bereft. Mrs. Cummings was an excellent horsewoman, thrown from her horse in a freak accident. She never came out of her coma. Marcia Talbot, her trusted friend and employee, was at her bedside until the end.
Well, I guess that blows your theory right out of the water.
Maybe. But I still say our murderer is a woman.
Who?
I don't know yet.
Oh.
But I'm working at it.
Oh, by the way, Will Pratt didn't go back to Ken Wayne's apartment. I heard from the guys on the stakeout this morning.
We don't even know that the man the super saw was Will Pratt.
It was him. They found his fingerprints all over the place.
Anything else?
No. Look, what are you doing here?
I just wanted him to come by for some questions, that's all, sir. I don't want him to know you're spying for me. Come on. What's up?
I don't know. Something strange is going on. I heard Marcia Talbot on the phone. I don't know who she was talking to. But she was talking about Franny. Saying how she and Douglas Cummings were getting too close or something. She was incredibly tense. And she said, don't go anywhere until you hear from me.
Do you have any idea what that means?
Well, I don't know. She was obviously talking about Franny. And here's another weird thing that was happening. Lucinda Walsh came to visit me at Caroline's.
What for?
What for? Well, she said that she might have a job for me when I'm cleared. But I don't think that's why she was there. She was asking an awful lot of questions about Marie's diary.
Look what just came in over the phone. It's probably a prank. But it says, check out the connection between this woman and Marie Kovac.
Lucinda Walsh?
This portion of As the World Turns has been brought to you by Love's Disposable Diapers. Your baby's comfort begins with Love's. And by Downy, the fabric softener that combines skin-loving softness with the airy April freshness you love. Stay tuned for Capital, next on most of these CBS stations. By Christie Brothers. Accessories by R.J. Graziano. Join us tomorrow for As the World Turns.
This is CBS.